Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully created one of the table, right? So here we successfully created one of the migration table as an employee table, and also after that I have migrated and then I have created one of the controller. So that is our controller is a employee controller, and I have also created one of the resourceful controller, right? And then I have created the model. So right now I want to first of all get all the data from our database table. So that is our table I have created as an employees table. So now I want to get all the data. So right now they have no data. So right now I want to make that work with our index method, right? So if you want to get all the data, you can get it in our with this index method. That means that is our controller I have created. So that is our API. Into the API, that is our employee controller, right? So now I want to do that work. Like here, if you want to get all the data, then what exactly you have to do? So here you have to define that with the, I just take with the one of the variable as an employee. Okay, I just take one of the variable and then our model. So I have already created one of the model as an employee model. So if you go here, you can see that I have already created one of the models. With this model, I want to get all the data. So here I want to use the Eloquent model. So if you want to use that as an employee, so I just simply define our model. So with this employee model, I want to get all the data. So I think you already know about it. So I just simply get all the data and then I want to return and return response. Okay, I just simply return response with the JSON. So here I define as a JSON. With the return response JSON, I want to display our this employee. So I just simply copy it and here I just simply paste it. Okay, so I just simply paste it. And also here I'm using that employee for the reason. So here we also have to use it. So I just simply define as use. That means our location, that is in our app, and into the app there is our, I have created one of the folder as a model, right? Into the model folder, our that is our model name as an employee. So I just simply define as an employee. Perfect. So friend, I think you already know about it. So that is our app. Into the app, I have created one of the folder as a model, and then that is our employee model. So I just simply define as the employee model. Okay. So with the index method right now I don't have any data for the reasons I just simply complete that part. So laterly I will show you how can display all the data and visible it in our page. So for the display all that page, I have already created one of the page. Like if you go to our employee folder, into the employee, you can see that is our index page. So now I want to do, first of all, I want to display our this page. So if you want to display it like create, from to the create, I just copy everything. Okay, I just copy everything, and in our index here I just simply paste it. So right now I don't need any method, so I just simply remove that method. Better I want to make the things as a PHPs. So there is a method and there is our data. So also here we don't need this, I just simply remove it. Okay, so I don't need this, and that will be needed. That is, I have already discussed about that things with you. This user is not logging, it should be redirected to our home directory. That means the home URL, and then that is all. So right now we don't need this actually. Okay, so better I want to remove everything from here, because for this page we have to designing it different way, right? So that is our form. So that is the form data. Better that is our form data, that is the form total form. So I just simply delete everything from to the form to form. So here you can see, so that's all that our form data. So I just simply remove it. Okay, so I just simply remove all that our form data. It should be as all employee. Okay, it should be as all employee. So that's all. That is also the link. So that is our all employee link. So here we have to define as add employee, right? It should be as add employee. So for the add employee, I have already defined on the link. So if you go to our route, for the route, you can see I have already defined that path. So that will be as a store employee. So now I just simply copy it, and now in our index, that means here I define that path. It should be as our store employee. Perfect, right? So now for our index, that means here for our index we have to also define that path. That means that we have to also define that route. So here if you go here, better I want to copy it. I want to take another one, and for this one I just name it as a employee. Okay, I just name it as a employee, and the component I just name it as an employee, and then our name I just simply define that name as employee, and also we have to load it. So here I just simply copy it And now I just simply define that our component name will be as an employee, and in our component, in our employee folder, I have created one of the file, right? I have already created one of the file as index.view. So I just simply load that. So I just simply define as index.view. So here I have also defined our path. So I want to add this path in our home page, that is a all employee, right? So here I also want to put that link. So that is in our welcome blade. That means here you can see I have already added our route for our add employee. So now I have also created new one. So that should be as an employee. So now if you click on the save all, I just click on the save all. Now open it and refresh that page. So make that sure everything is okay. So you can see there have no error in our compile. So that is perfect. Now I want to go to our employee and the all employee. Click on here. Yeah, you can see without loading that page, that's our all employee page is loaded. So for the all employee page, I have already defined that page, right? So that is our index page, and here I define as all employee, and also that is add employee button. So for the add employee button, I also define our path. That means I have already created one of the URL for this one. So that is our store employee, right? So that is our store employee for adding employee. So right now I just simply defining it. So it should be also go here. Click on the add employee. Yeah, you can see it's now redirected to our add employee. Go to the all employee. So here I didn't add that link. So now I also want to put that link on here. So if you go to our link, that means in our create, into the create, I have defined that link as all employees. So right now I have already created one of the route for this one. That will be as a employee. So I just simply copy it. Now go here, I just put that link. So friend, I think step by step everything is become very much easy for you, right? You can see if you know that main code things, how much easy it is. Everything is now repeatedly I'm using it on here. So now I just click on the refresh it again. Now go to the all employee. Yeah, all employee, add employee. So you can add employee, go to the all employee, add employee. Everything is perfectly loaded without loading that page, right? So it's now perfect. So now friend, I want to get our data. So here I have already defined that method as an index method, and here with our employee, that means the employee model, I get all the data. So now I want to check it. So right now I don't have any data, but I want to check it. So here I return that response with the JSON employee, right? So now we have to define one of the route for this one. So if you want to define that route, so now we are working in our API, not the web. So now go to our API, and into the API here I want to add our route. So after that I want to define that route, right? And to the route area, I have created one of the resourceful route in our API. So I just simply define our API and the resource. Okay, I just simply define our API resourceful route, and into the first of all I define on the URL, it should be as an employee. So I just simply define as an employee, and also we have to define our API, because as I told you before, it will be in our API folder. Into the API folder I have created one of the controllers, right? So I have created this controller, that means the employee controller in our API. You can see in our API folder I have created this controller as our employee controller. So as I told you before, here I am using that resourceful controller for the reasons I already defined that resourceful. That means here I define that API resourceful, our URL as the employee API, and here I just simply define our controller name, that is our employee controller. Okay friends, so here that is our controller. So with this controller I have defined our method, that is the index method. With this index method right now I get all the data. So right now I don't have any data in our database table, right? So I don't have any data, so laterally I will get all the data from our this table, that means the employees table, and I will visible it in our all employee page, that means here. Okay, so step by step I will cover each and everything, then we'll update it, we'll delete it. So everything I will discuss one by one. So right now I don't have any data for the reasons here I don't want to display anything. So first of all I want to insert data. That means they have also another method as a store method. So with this store method I want to insert it. Okay, so I want to insert all the data from our create components into the create component. I have already defined all that our field. So that is all that our field data I want to insert it in our database table. I have already created one of the database table, that is our employees table. So friend, how can insert it? How can working with our images? Also here we have to insert our images as well. So how can insert all the data from our create component? In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.